Even though I'll be teaching in the DDSB, I didn't get a chance to catch one of their meetings, so I went down to Toronto to catch the TDSB board meeting, and this one was definitely very, very interesting as they discussed the budget cuts that the Ford administration has imposed on them. So essentially, what happened, the Ford administration imposed these cuts on TDSB, about $67.8 million, and what they said was you figure out where these cuts are going to come from, like what programs and staffing and services you want to cut, and we'll give you up to this date. The deadline, I think it was June 30th. And they said if you don't come up with a plan of what you're going to cut or what you're going to sacrifice, essentially, we're going to come in and we'll make our own decisions about what we're going to cut. So, I mean, this was a pretty savage move. This was essentially telling someone, you're gonna lose something and you can choose what it is, or else I'm just gonna choose it for you. So safe to say that a lot of the trustees that were representing their particular wards were obviously not happy. So they passed their they approved the proposed budget plan. However, they had some very, very strong words for the Ford government when they were discussing this matter. So a lot of the discussion happened between Dr. John Mallory, the Director of Education, presenting it essentially to the chair, which was Robin Pilkey, and then the trustees voted on it. So now I had to do a little bit of research regarding what the implications were of these TDSB cuts. So when I got home, I started looking into it, and so this is what it is. So essentially, the cuts are going to happen over a 2-year period. So the majority of cuts, like 47 million, are happening within the year 2019-2020, and then in year 2 there's another like 20 something million being cut. But of these 67.8 million, 46.8 million of them will be cut in the first year, with 20 million in year 2. So the problem is that $42 million will be provincial government funding, so grants to programs like early childhood education, class size fundings to grade 4 and 8, various support programs. So not only are you increasing class sizes from grade 4 to grade 8, but you're also cutting ECE support. This is going to make it a lot tougher for students and for teachers to deal with essentially these changes that are going to be imposed on them, because you have less help and you have more students to deal with. So it's creating a big problem there. Oh shoot, this writing is really small. So it says, number 3, the highest grant reduction is 13.4 million. So this funding is directly tied to the number of secondary school teachers. So they're also reducing secondary school teachers, and they're letting them go, saying that they're surplus, which is a problem because not only have some of them been let go and been deemed a surplus, but because there's budget cuts to administration as well, people that are people that are holding admin positions like principals, they're getting bumped down, but because they have higher seniority than other teachers that are currently teaching, some of those teachers have been bumped, quote unquote, from their position, and they've been essentially labeled as tentatively surplus because they might not have a position because someone with more seniority is taking their position. So not only are some teachers being flat out let go, saying that they're surplus, but some people are being bumped, quote unquote, because there's less position and because of the funding cuts to administration. Now there's people with more seniority coming back into the workforce to be teachers, so they're taking other people's jobs. With all that being said, it is tough to implement all these cuts. However, the TDSB still has a massive budget. So, I mean, and I get it that there's many programs that are going to suffer. You know, what the TDSB did was they went to the communities and they asked people to poll on what programs they really wanted to save. So things like they specifically mentioned in the meeting was outdoor ed and these Saturday programs for international students. So they had the communities vote on which programs they wanted to save, which I thought was really cool. However, it was definitely a very emotional meeting. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Anyways, this is my governance assignment. Hope you guys liked it. I went a little bit over time. That's my apologies. All the best. Hope you have a good summer.